Hey guys, Max here, and I'm with Raphael and Harvey, and you guys are from Arkane, and you just showed us Dishonored. Now what, pray tell, is Dishonored, if you had to explain it to me very quickly in an elevator?
In an elevator, Dishonored is a first-person action game where you play the role of a supernatural assassin.
Dishonored takes place in this steampunk city called Dunwall. It looks kind of like an 1850s American whaling city. It's influenced by London. Our art director, Sebastian Mitton, and our visual design director, Victor Antonov, have put a lot of work into the look of the game. It's got this painterly style. You have to really see it moving to understand it. And yet, rain-slick streets are wet and shiny as well, so it has, technological visual features as well on top of that sort of painterly style. But the main thing about Dishonored, I think, is that at any given point, you have this suite of mobility tools: slide, climb, lean. You have this stealth AI that either the guards go really quick into combat, or they're not even aware that you're there if you're sneaky enough. You have a range of powers, supernatural powers, and weapons that you've upgraded. And then on top of that, our style has always been, like, for the levels, the mission environments, to have multiple pathways, like run down the streets, go over the rooftops, go to the window in the back, possess a fish, and swim in through a water vent.
And this is, in terms of how the game is laid out before players, it's fairly linear setup. It's pretty straightforward. You're not creating your own character or anything. It's not an open world, but everyone's having a different experience, and there's different ways to play the game.
Right. It's yes, it is linear. The structure is there to really guide you. We're not into an open world where people are going to be lost and not knowing where to go. It's like mission after mission, and between mission you go back to a home base where you get your next objective. You can upgrade your equipment. But within a mission, it is very open itself. Like, the mission itself has multiple ways to be done, and it's not multiple ways that we thought of. It's just that we've set up the environment and the AI in a way that the player is going to find his own ways to do things, like based on what powers he has and what his strategy and what his playstyle is. Everybody will have somehow a different experience. Like, just to give an example, every building usually has 3 or 4, maybe 5 ways to get in.
Oh, wow.
So then, based on that alone, the mission itself is not linear at all. Like, the game is linear in a way that, yes, in terms of story, it's like one mission after the next, after the next, after the next, and then there are consequences, by the way. Like, if you do something in this mission, then this mission setup will be different. But within a mission, it's really open.
One thing I like is you've got weapons, but it's not your typical kind of like, here are your guns, go shoot some guys. You've got weapons, and you've got powers, abilities, and they can be used sort of interchangeably, and it's really, you can combine them. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we have a slew of movement abilities, reactions to the enemy awareness. We also have guns and traps and grenades, but we also have supernatural powers and these things called bone charms. And the player can put those together in a number of ways. We tend to simulate things as much as we can, so players are constantly surprising us. Early on we saw people doing things like summon a swarm of rats and possess one of them to run around as a rat, right? So he's surrounded by all the other rats, and the guards on their patrol routes, they naturally, if they see a rat, they yell about it and try to stomp it. And so a big horde of rats is dangerous in the game, but one rat on its own is not even hostile. So you can summon your own rat swarm and then use one of them to possess, run around, find little holes that only rats could go through. It's just an example, but people started doing that just organically, figuring it out very creatively. Another thing is, like, if you fall off a 5 or 6 story building in the game, you're going to die. But people figured out that they could do things like just jump off of a 5-story building, and before they hit the ground, aim their possession power at a guard and move bodily into the guard, and it kills the inertia of the fall, and then they can walk past the guard checkpoint without getting attacked. So people are putting these things together, like, dynamically.
That's really cool. One thing, the possession, it's not just like your typical kind of remote control. You're actually becoming whatever you're possessing.
Yeah, it's magic. You move into the body of the target, the rat, the fish, the guard. Cool. People have figured out other things too. Like, a guard raises a gun and starts to shoot, and you can stop time. And here's a crazy example. Like, if you use your time stop power at exactly the right moment, the bullet's hanging in the air. You can then, while time is stopped, go possess the guard and walk him around in front of his own bullet. And when time resumes, he's killed by his own shot. People figured that out early on, so we just love that kind of player creativity.
Do you have a release date for this yet?
The game ships sometimes in 2012 on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much for talking. Dishonored looks awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.